So I was just in the hardware store the other day, and they do lawnmower tune-ups. Anyway, I saw that it costs about $70 to have your lawnmower tuned up, and I thought, oh good grief, that's ridiculous. So I wanted to review some ways that an individual would be able to diagnose their own lawnmower. So there's three basic things that run a motor, and that you have to have for any engine to function, and that would be compression, fuel and air. But compression, fuel and air, and then spark. There we go. Had a brain fart. So anyway, compression, air and fuel, and spark. Now if you don't have one of those three, your motor's obviously not going to run. So, and the ways to test this, now compression's pretty easy to test. Now what you would do is with the spark plug in the motor, you would get your cord here and pull the motor over, and if you get resistance every so often, you know you have compression. Now if you have resistance all the time, your motor's probably seized up, you forgot to put oil in it or something of that nature, and it's probably ruined at that point. So you definitely want to always be checking your oil in your mower. But if you have compression, see, here's the compression stroke, exhaust stroke, intake stroke, and then compression stroke again. So you should have resistance on the compression stroke because both the intake and exhaust valves are shut. To test your fuel, you would, well, let's go to spark here first. So then if your mower checks out for compression, then your next obvious thing would be spark. And if you don't have any resistance on your motor, then obviously it's not going to run. Without compression, your motor just cannot run. So that's vital. So anyway, and that can be caused from valves not sealing, rings going bad, blown head gasket. Numerous things can cause that. But anyway, if you have a lawnmower and it has no compression, you're better off usually just getting rid of it, because what you have to put in to get it running at that point is way more than it's worth. So anywho, then with the spark, how you can do to test this is you might need two people, but you would pull your spark plug and put it on your maybe set it on your head or a head bolt, and then have a buddy pull the ripcord. Now if you do have spark, you should see, you might want to do this in a shaded area where you can see real well, but when the cord is pulled here, you'll see a little spark arc across the spark plug, but it has to be held, the metal part right here has to be held to another metal part, and preferably something that isn't painted. So you want to do something that's bare metal. So, and if you have spark there, then you know you're good, and if you have any spark at all, usually it's enough to fire a motor. Now the other thing you can do to see if your mower won't run and you have spark and compression, your next thing to move to would be your fuel. Now what you can do to test that is you can take your air cleaner off and then just dump some gas directly into the carburetor. So, and then when you pull the ripcord, if it fires up at that point, that means you're not getting fuel through your carburetor. And more often than not, when motors sit, they have carburation issues, and usually they get gummed up and stuff. So, but like I said, how you can test this is to pour a little gas or starter fluid, but gas ought to be just fine, and then pull the motor over, and if it fires, puffs any smoke or tries to run, then you know that that's probably your issue. So those are the few things to check. Pretty much if you go through those three things, one of those ought to be the problem if your mower doesn't run. But with the prices today of a $70 tune-up and stuff, it's better off to really do things yourself in this day and age. So anyway, a few helpful tips. If anyone's got any further comments or advice for anybody, then they can go ahead and add that in. But there's three basic things: spark, compression, air, and fuel. And if you're not getting those, then basically your any engine isn't going to run. So, and also what you can check is you can pull your air cleaner off and then try and start your motor, because oftentimes with these lawnmowers, if you never change your air filter, they get a bunch of grass and crap in them, and then you're not getting any airflow, and you don't get any oxygen mixed with your fuel. It doesn't ignite. So that's another thing to check. But anyway, there you have it.